Hello, a very good morning. You are welcome along to Ireland AM. It's great to have you with us.
It is. It's Wednesday, the 18th of October, and here's what's coming up today.
Now, last night, an airstrike on a hospital in Gaza resulted in hundreds of casualties. We are going to get the latest on that at 7:15.
Yeah, and for something completely different, because that's what happens here on Ireland AM at 7:35, our eco-educator Pat Kane is debunking sustainability myths that had us shouting at each other yesterday in our work. Meetings and washing out containers like makeup containers, beans, peas, cans. We were going at each other.
Yes, we'll look forward to debating that later on. Also, we're going to be celebrating women in comedy when we catch up with Amanda Brunker about crafting quips on her stand-up debut.
Yes, Alan, he's not here with us this morning.
He's in
Can't see him over there giving out to us. He is in Tralee. Alan, how are you?
The umbrella's out.
Good morning, Muireann. Yes, good morning to you guys. Welcome to Ireland AM here in Tralee Golf Club on the outskirts of Tralee town. Very wet because the storm was here yesterday and passing through this morning. But we're promised things will brighten up here and it's going to be a beautiful morning, well, view-wise anyway. We are here celebrating Virgin Media's rolling out 2 gig full fibre broadband around County Kerry over the last few months. And what a morning we have in store for you, because we're going to be talking to sheep farmers. We're talking about the Kerry Film Festival. We're going to be joined by the Escort of the Year from the recent Rose of Tralee Festival. And we're also talking basketball success from the Tralee Warriors. So it's going to be a busy old morning here in Tralee, but we're going to have some great fun. Now, I'm here. Where's our other roving man, Deric? You're down in Killarney, Deric, in a pumpkin farm, we believe. How are you getting on? Is it raining over in Killarney?
It looks like you got the short straw up there in Tralee in terms of weather, because it's lovely balmy down here in Killarney at the moment. Sorry about that. As you mentioned there, Al, it is a pretty wet one through parts of the south, the west, and across the eastern area. Still, those status orange and yellow rain warnings in place for later on today as the back end of Storm Bet passes through, but it will improve as the day goes on. Now, Killarney Pumpkin Farm is where we're at this morning. Coming up later on this Wednesday, we're going to be taking you on a tour of the farm itself. We've got some pumpkin carvers, we've got a ghost tour, and we're talking all things Samhain in the run-up to Halloween. And guys, back at base, any guess as to what this is? Any guesses?
Something that is not suitable for the television at this hour of morning.
It's a gourd. It's called a gourd. It's the first cousin of the pumpkin.
Wow.
Obviously.
Okay.
Every day is a school day in Ireland.
Poor old Alan's holding the umbrella up there. He can't see what Deric is holding up this morning, but
it's the same colour as what Alan's holding. There's some connection there. It's lovely.
Listen, if you are in Tralee or Killarney, make sure you go over and see the guys this morning.
Tralee Golf Club are going to be delighted. Everyone just rocking up to see himself. Come on, let's go.
Put on the kettle.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Thank you, Ger, and a very good morning. We're broadcasting live down here in the beautiful Killarney in County Kerry. Coming up later on this morning, we're going to be taking you on a tour of Killarney Pumpkin Farm in the run-up to Halloween. So that's all to come in and around 9:10. Now, we're getting past 7 o'clock here together. Let's take a look weather-wise at how it's shaping up with Alan Fraser with us on cameras once again. And it is a pretty wet start now through parts of the west and across the midwest to south, through parts of southern Leinster and onto the east coast out there this morning. Some very heavy rain, and still that status orange rain warning in place for counties Cork, Kerry and into Waterford until 1 o'clock later on this afternoon. In terms of those winds, again pacey, moderate to locally fresh and often strong there to the southeast. Now, right across today, in fact, we do have a status yellow rain warning then in place for all of Leinster through parts of Donegal, Cavan and into Monaghan. That yellow warning remains in place until 8 o'clock later on this evening. So as that slow moving system, the back end of Storm Babette pushes up through the country, bringing with it once again some heavier showers, that ongoing risk of surface water and spot flooding out there today. Top values of around 13 to 16 degrees, so on the milder side. Out there tonight, again, quite showery, quite rainy, with an ongoing risk of localised spot flooding, but it will improve from the south as we progress away tonight into tomorrow morning, with overnight lows there no lower than 9 to 13 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in Killarney, County Kerry at the moment. We'll be back again live at 7:35.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Coming up, we're going to be taking a look at the stories behind today's top headlines.
Yes, see you back here very shortly.
Welcome back. It's time now to take a look at this morning's papers. We'll start with the Irish Times. Its headline, hundreds killed after airstrike on hospital in Gaza City. Hamas and Israel blamed each other for an explosion at a Gaza City hospital last night. Health authorities say at least 500 people have been killed and many are still feared trapped under the rubble.
Hundreds killed on day of abject horror in Gaza. That's similarly the front page of the Irish Independent. There's been an international condemnation of the strike as it was labelled a massacre.
The Examiner also leads with that story. Its headline, hundreds killed in airstrike on crammed Gaza City hospital.
Ashling Murphy trial. Here's the accused told Gardaí, "I am the murderer." That's the top story on the Daily Mail. On the opening day of the case, the Central Criminal Court heard that Joseph Puska, accused of the murder of Miss Murphy, admitted to the crime to Gardaí just 2 days after Miss Murphy was killed while jogging in Tullamore.
The Star also leads with that story. Its headline reads, stabbed in the neck 11 times. Yesterday, the Central Criminal Court was told that Joseph Puska's DNA was found under Ashling Murphy's fingernails and there was a 1 in 14,000 chance of it belonging to anyone else.
Yeah, the Mirror and the Sun also lead with that same story.
The Herald has a different story. It says gangland target Nelly armed and dangerous. A major Garda alert is in place for Ireland's most under threat gangland target, James Nelly Walsh, who is considered armed, dangerous and to be hiding out in Kildare.
So joining us now to discuss those stories further is political correspondent with the Irish Examiner, Paul Hosford. Good morning.
Morning,
to
Paul.
you, Paul. Let's go across to Gaza at the moment because that bombing being called a massacre, looks like there's 500 people in a hospital.
Yeah, it's your story on the front of the Examiner today.
Yeah, this was something that kind of broke late last night. And one of the things that's been kind of interesting to watch or I suppose frustrating for a lot of people to watch is that initially when it broke, it was the Palestinian Health Authority which announced that it was an Israeli airstrike. Within 20 minutes, you had an Al Jazeera tweet that said that an IDF spokesperson had said that they had ordered an evacuation of this hospital.
Okay.
That got walked back about 40 minutes later. Israel said that this wasn't in fact an Israeli airstrike. It was a failed Hamas or Palestinian Islamic Jihad rocket strike that had exploded in the hospital. So now you've got a claim, counterclaim. Neither side has really offered any evidence for their claims that the other side did it, but you're into as much a PR war which neglects the fact that 500 people are dead. Very, very distressing videos of doctors giving press conferences
surrounded by dead bodies.
Yeah, really, really upsetting stuff. If you're minded to scroll on X or Twitter this morning, just be aware that stuff is there. But yeah, just another day of horror. I think that the description of abject horror in Gaza is very, very apt. It came as the European Council met by video conference. Taoiseach Leo Varadkar was involved. He was very, very strong in pushing for humanitarian corridors, this idea that there has to be a cease in fighting so that we can get aid there. Charities, NGOs warning that there's serious collapse ready for Gaza.
So there's so many people around hospitals. There was a report this morning on Euronews because it's the only place with power. So people are going to charge their phones from the generators in hospitals. And hospitals have become targets because we're hearing Hamas are using civilian infrastructure as a way to kind of hide and make them as targets.
And Leo Varadkar, he said that yesterday in his statement,
He spoke about that. So what's going to happen here? Surely, Israel aren't known to care what the UK think, what Europe think, what anyone else thinks. America is kind of what matters to them. Is anyone paying attention to it? Is everyone just going to get away with everything? It seems hopeless.
Yeah, I suppose one of the big hopes was a summit that was due today between Joe Biden, Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, Egyptian President Al-Sisi and the King Abdullah of Jordan. That was due to take place in Jordan this morning. That's been cancelled because Mahmoud Abbas has said that there's 3 days of mourning. Joe Biden is really flying into the biggest crisis in the Middle East in probably the guts of a decade. really, really fraught situation on the West Bank, really, really fraught situation in southern Jordan, northern Israel. What happens next? I mean, you can look at probably the 2014 50-day war and say that it could go that long. Ideally, it wouldn't. I suppose, like you said, the big thing is where America falls on this. If there's American pressure to end the bombardment, if there's American pressure to end the blockade of Gaza, maybe there'll be movement. But if Israel is given kind of tacit approval by America to continue as it's doing, Americans have been very, very clear on Israel's right to defend itself and how far that goes.
All sides of America. So one thing that Republicans and Democrats are actually joined on, it is the rights of Israel to defend itself. Yeah,
there's a very large kind of block of people in America who support this. I suppose this reaction from Israel. So it's hard to see an ending certainly in the short term. I think you're probably looking at the guts of a month before anything.
So Joe Biden is flying into Tel Aviv.
He's due to,
but the meetings are cancelled, is it? So
well, he's due to meet the Israeli side, but this summit, which was, I suppose, it was designed to establish this humanitarian corridor, this resumption of humanitarian. That's not going to happen today, at least.
Okay.
And that's a huge blow, because as if you listen to Médecins Sans Frontières, if you listen to the WHO or any of the UN agencies, they will say that Gaza is perilously close to collapse.
Well,
Fuel
that's
is
what we
running
spoke to UNICEF yesterday as well, and water is such a huge worry over there. Power, obviously, oil as well. So I'm sure we'll find out, because it is an evolving situation pretty much on a daily basis.
Yeah, and we have to be aware of misinformation on this as well. We were talking about this beforehand. There are extremely sophisticated levels of misinformation in relation to Israel, Gaza, Palestine.
Yeah, I would think if you're looking to establish yourself who carried out this attack last night, or who was responsible for the explosion at this hospital, Twitter is not the place to do it, because everything is, there's so much information, so much of it is based on very, very obviously bad faith arguments. I would kind of...
Watch yourself.
Yeah, well, traditional media, something that hopefully people can trust. Let's move on to a big story, obviously, here at home yesterday. The trial for Ashling Murphy's murder started yesterday as well.
Yeah, this is the trial of Joseph Puska. He's a 33-year-old Slovak national from Mukla in County Offaly. Now, yesterday, the prosecution was laying out its case, the case that we'll hear over the next couple of weeks. For the prosecution, Anne-Marie Lawler said that there was a confession that 2 days after the murder, Joseph Puska told Gardaí that he had done it, that he had stabbed Ashling Murphy 11 times in the neck, as we saw on the front of one of the papers.
Horrific.
The state's case is that he had done this, that he had been... that there's 25,000 hours of CCTV. There's maps. There's footage
DNA
of him
under his fingernails.
Yeah, DNA under his fingernails. Footage of him cycling aimlessly around Tullamore on the day. Some of the testimony or some of the alleged testimony that the state is going to use includes him kind of saying that Ashling Murphy had ran past him. He'd never seen her before. And that he had stabbed her. It's I suppose everyone remembers this case. Everyone will be, I suppose, tuned into the trial. It's important to note that this is just the prosecution summing up of what they're going to present. None of this has been proven as yet.
And he is also denied.
He's pleaded not guilty.
Not guilty in relation to this. And I suppose one thing about this case is obviously, you just have to think about her family, her friends, the people who are going through this, because obviously on the 12th of January 2022, their lives change forever. But also not to bias the trial. We have to be very just reporting of the facts of what's going on, and not to bias in any sort of way, and just let the prosecution and the defence do what they do. And there'll be more. How long are we expecting it to go on?
They'd set a kind of expectation of about 4 weeks. So
4 weeks, possibly moving into 5.
Yeah, or it could go shorter.
You never know. OK, Paul Hosford from The Examiner, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it.
Thank you, Paul. Still lots more to come here on Ireland AM.
See you back here.
You're very welcome back now from toxic tea bags. Who would have thought? To a green makeup routine, we're continuing Climate Action Week with some eco-myth busting.
We need to calm down about the toxic tea bags. So if you're having your cup of tea, you're all right. Sustainability strategist Pat Kane joins us now to give us her top tips. Good morning, Pat. It is lovely to have you here. So let's talk about tea bags. Right?
Let's do it.
We're not all getting poisoned by tea bags in the morning, but they're not what we think they are.
Well, the conventional tea bag would contain a bit of plastic on the glue that closes that bag, right?
Yeah.
So these ones, they are brand new, they're by an Irish brand, and they're fully compostable.
Yes.
So they can go into your brown bin, or else you can just chop the waste and add to your plants. They'll be very happy. You know, that loose tea leaves, they will release nitrogen, and plants will be delighted with that.
So normal tea bags have a kind of a glue that goes into them, and a plastic as well, is that right?
Yeah, brands are transitioning as we speak. So the big Irish brands that you will know, you know, they are
Lions,
these for example, So they are transitioning, and they're all compostable now, which is like fantastic.
And it does say it on the packet, like
Absolutely.
you know that it
so
says
always look for it on the packaging.
Is their packaging gotten smaller? Does that mean that there's less tea bags in it, like we see with chocolate bars? Everything's just getting smaller.
I wouldn't know that now, Tommy. But I there's plenty in there. You'll be okay.
But I know, because they've reduced the size of it by 1/3.
Yeah.
Which makes me think that there's less tea bags.
No, what they're doing is less cardboard.
Okay.
So the packaging is still like great and holding as many bags as before, but the cardboard there's less, so you're wasting less.
Yeah. So they're square, so they kind of like fit in a bit
or
better.
Even the actual box where they come in. Yeah.
Okay.
Which is good.
To be more sustainable though, loose leaf, that's the way to go. That's
the best option, right? There's always a better option. Sustainability is not about perfection, it's about finding better ways of doing things you love doing. So if a cup of tea is your cup of tea, you know, that's a very good option.
Going back to grandma days. Grandma loved an old loose leaf. Getting it in your teeth, and it'd be like tar.
Or a little bit, But you know what? If you have a bit more time at home and you can dedicate to make a cup of tea using loose leaf, great. And there are lots of shops around Ireland that sell it right now, which is great.
Absolutely. Alan would be disgusted because that fella...
Well,
he only one bit of it because his tea is so weird. So that's tea bags. Let's move on to almond milk. What's wrong with almond milk?
So almond milk, it's lovely and it's definitely a crowd pleaser. Before this segment, I was asking around. Everybody loves it. However, it is not great when it comes to the overall water usage, land usage. Most of the almonds in the world come from California, a place that, you know, water is very scarce, as is, big droughts and fires and whatnot, as we know. And guess what? There's a study out there that says that for one California almond, you need 3 gallons of water. So 4.4 litres of water.
Oh, right. So even...
Very thirsty.
That's really bad.
Thirsty.
And even getting to travel, like travelling from California to Ireland. Sure, you think of the
carbon footprint.
Carbon footprint on that as well. What about oats or any of the other ones? Like, or even just normal milk?
So cow's milk, and you know, we're here to tell people what's going on. Ultimately, it's your choice. We're not here to be militants for one or the other, right? But we're just informing folks out there. Oat milk would be the best one because it's native to Ireland. There are brands out there that would make them here. There's no transportation, big challenges and whatnot. They are grand from a water usage, land usage, you know, and so oat milk would be the one.
For lactose intolerant people,
from an environmental standpoint, oat milk or soy milk. But oat, you can find here.
Lovely.
So always choose that one.
Okay, good one. Like that one. Now, we did straws last time. We were like, okay, the straws aren't great. Wooden cutlery, single-use cutlery.
Yes. So wooden is always better than plastic, right? We're seeing them there.
Because we're seeing a lot of people there and they're getting rid of their disposable plastic and they're bringing in wooden.
Exactly. So wooden is better than plastic. However,
not
remember...
if you're trying to stick it into something, though.
Go on, Tommy, go on.
I mean, I actually had to eat a salad with that the other day.
It was a challenge, wasn't it?
Challenge it was.
Did you take the hands?
But you've got some good news for us, because don't be using that. Bring your knife and fork with you.
So these ones, they are great, but still you have trees being cut down, and if you don't dispose of them correctly, not great, right?
Now, what disposable bin do they go into?
Composting bin, brown bin.
Oh, right.
Yeah, brown bin or green bin, depending on the county. But like your composting bin. However, what I'm always saying is, don't spend your money on anything. Get a set from home. I even put a bowl for you guys.
That is so
cute. There you go, guys.
Take them with you.
Take them with you. We all have cutlery at home, right?
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. We're good.
So just take this with you. Leave one in your car, one at work. Just give it a rinse.
But surely even a restaurant would be reusing as well, wouldn't they? So that's kind of better.
It's more for your food trucks and that sort of jazz. Now, if you feel like investing on something lovely, it's very hard. It's very hard for me. My job is difficult.
It does. As opposed to a restaurant giving you these that they're just going to chuck them into the bin.
That's on the go, right? They give it to you when you're on the go.
Okay.
Right? They're not going to give it to you if you're seated there.
So if you make your own salad, you bring it in and bring your own
Let's move on.
Can I just say one thing? You can find lovely sets that you can invest and keep in your bag, etc. But use what you have. That's like the message.
Cup or whatever.
Use what you have. Absolutely.
Yeah, don't be spending money on gimmicks. You don't need to do that.
No.
Okay, so makeup.
Yes.
Makeup removal pads and whatever else. Cotton pads.
Yeah. So one big high street shop, they've been testing around in 12 different markets. They tested with hundreds of stores, to eliminate completely the cotton pads, as we know, right? And it worked. So much so that they're...
That's pennies, isn't it? They've got... Right. Yeah. What have they done?
So they're no longer selling this sort of thing, and they're moving into the reusable ones.
Yes, they're everywhere.
Yeah. Reusable ones can be found in a multitude of shapes and sizes. But again, if you have a no towel at home, you can cut that in little squares and just use that as well. Yeah. Cheapest chips, it's there. And you know what? You're using what you have.
Come on now. Pennies sell a top for €2.50. Like, do you mean, so like, but they do, but it's good that they're doing this.
It's
is
a step forward.
They're trying to change.
It's like you hate, you're just like, it's like,
but they do.
You just don't like myth
But that's greenwashing, surely, is it not?
Well, you could see from that
Making
side.
it look like they're doing this, but actually on the other side. The majority of the business.
I could come in and do a whole segment on that, call me. However, today we are commending them for this
for getting rid of that, because they were selling thousands of them.
It's a step forward. And if it starts with that, so be it. It needs to start somewhere.
Just use reusable ones.
Because these ones you're going to use, you're going to wash, and then boom, happy days.
I use a cleanse off mitt for absolutely everything. Very, very, very handy.
Me too. I love
face cloth, perfect.
Face cloth, you're good to go.
Or mitts, the little mitts.
Very good.
We had a little argument yesterday at work. I had a little argument on my Instagram about this. This is washing for recycling. When it comes to recycling, washing your makeup, washing your tins of beans, what do we have to be doing?
So right now, we have big targets set by the EU for recycling, right? By 2025, we need to be recycling 50% of our plastics. We are at 30.
Yeah, okay.
2 years to go, kind of a year and 2 months, whatever. So we're probably not going to get there, but we can still try our best, right? Yeah. And our best means to... Every time you're putting something in your recycling bin, it has to be clean, dry, and loose. Right. Meaning, if this piece of paper here is clean, goes into your recycling bin. Yeah. Cardboard, fabulous. Yeah. Bitter plastic, what I would do with this, you don't have to wash it and shower it, as I say. It's rinse it.
Rinse it.
Rinse it, so it's great, dry, into your bin.
Because it's not meant to contaminate it, right?
Exactly.
You don't want it to contaminate.
You don't want it to have any food leftovers, raw, because it will attract vermin, rats, etc. And it's not great.
What about glass?
Just rinse and bring it to your bottle bank.
Okay.
You can't
but even with the makeup one. Because trying to get the makeup out of some of that stuff is a pain.
The thing is, you need to even find out first if that thing's recyclable, because a lot of makeup containers aren't.
Okay.
It's a different type of plastic. So check mywaste.ie for all your questions, or call me.
Okay.
Call Pat.
Hit
But that's
me up.
quite good. So if you have stuff, crumbs and all of that, just give it a quick rinse. Throw it in the recycle
Or even
bin.
better, if you have a dishwasher that's really full, just throw it in there and let the dishwasher do the job.
Let the dishwasher do the thing.
Yeah?
Come here. Are there any arguments in your house over recycling? Because we have them all of the time. 0896 111 111. We'd love to hear from you, from our eco-busting myths, busting the myths of the eco-busters. That's what Tommy was doing today.
Pat Kane, thank you so much for that.
So
and yes,
much.
we would love to hear from you, because we're all trying our best.
We are.
It is. It's tricky to even know. But check out, what's the website?
Well, you can find me at iampatKane.com. I am Pat Kane on Instagram. Website is mywaste.ie.
Mywaste.ie.
Thank you so much. A fella who's mad for the recycling. Alan, he's coming up very shortly on Ireland Day.
Very welcome back. Now, Alan is not here this morning. He's down in Kerry in the rain. with some of the kingdom's top movie makers.
There you go. They might do something about raining because there was, of course, that storm there. Alan, how are you doing?
Oh, he's inside.
Thanks, Muireann. Yes, it is still raining outside. I can't believe how dark it still is here this morning. But we're inside. We're in the nice, warm and cosy Tralee Golf Club here this morning. And movie buffs from around the world will be flocking to the kingdom this weekend for the Kerry Film Festival. And I'm joined now by two of the country's finest filmmakers, John Nee and Mika van Mechelen. Good morning to both of you, and thank you very much for joining us. Exciting weekend ahead for both of you. John, can we start with you? Because you started your career 40 years ago, is it? Are we giving away?
40 years. 1983 I started touring Ireland.
Touring Ireland. But a lot of people in Dublin might recognise you for something you were doing on Grafton Street. Tell us about that.
That was 40 years ago.
40
Grafton
years
Street, yeah, the pedestrianisation of Grafton Street. I began doing Charlie Chaplin.
And I remember that so well, you walking up and down with the little stick going along. How long did you do it for?
I'd done it for about 5 years, I think, or more, yeah. And in the summer I would travel around the country doing it, and to Spain as well.
And why Charlie Chaplin at the time?
Oh, I love Charlie Chaplin, but the reason actually was I used to do performance poetry, and on my way to Henry Street, before Grafton Street got pedestrianised, I had the baggy Bowie pants and had the tailcoat. And the guys who used to sell in newspapers would say, "How are you, Charlie?" Or the flower sellers, "How are you, Charlie?" So I thought, oh yeah, Charlie. And I loved Charlie Chaplin, so I got a bowler hat and a cane and read his autobiography, and that was it.
Lovely picture there with you and Ronnie Drew. I'm sure you got pictures with many people over the time.
Yeah.
Any funny stories then when you were there, like for all those years on Grafton Street?
Stories, because it used to be most of the stuff had happened actually when I'd be finished doing Charlie Chaplin and still be in costume on my way home as Charlie Chaplin.
How did that work when you're getting on the bus as Charlie Chaplin?
On the buses and all that, but you'd have to stay in character, obviously.
Yeah.
But one day I was actually it was at Christmas. I was in Dunleary Shopping Centre performing there. I came back. I was living in a basement flat in Black Rock, in the seafront, and I arrived back at evening time, dark like this, as Charlie Chaplin down the road. A woman comes running out of her basement flat with a baby in her arm, smoke coming out of her house. The kitchen was on fire.
No.
Yeah, so help. And she didn't care that I was dressed as Charlie Chaplin. Just help me, you know.
Can you help me put the fire out?
It didn't faze her at all that I was dressed as Charlie Chaplin to help me. So I ran into the kitchen, into my scullery, and there was wet towels or something, started beating this fire out, and that. The cooker was caught, started to melt, all that. And she had got the people upstairs and people. So by the time I came out, well, there's people started passing me buckets of sand, like in a human chain.
And you were still in the full Charlie Chaplin.
In Charlie Chaplin. No one can see me because I'm in the kitchen by myself, little kitchenette, beating this fire out. People passing me buckets of sand. I put the fire out and I come out of the smoke, and there's just this line of people all the way out into the garden. A crowd has gathered. I exit from the smoke, past everyone, tip my hat, kick the cane, and waddle off down the road. As Charlie
I love
Chaplin.
it. That's brilliant.
But yeah, things like that was kind of common.
Mika, you're the most unlikeliest looking sheep farmer I think I've ever met in my life. How did you get into that? Because you're originally from Belgium.
That's right.
And when did you move to Ireland?
I moved to Ireland when I was 6 years old with my family.
Okay.
And my father was a shepherd in Holland. I'm Belgian originally, but so yeah, and we came over here, and my dad bought a farm, and I took over the farm from him, and I have 3 sons, and one of them is now following in my footsteps.
Following in footsteps, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just a natural progression. And
is it a tough life?
Yeah, it's you have to be tough to keep going sometimes.
Yeah.
But it's rewarding as well. You know, I mean, it's a nice lifestyle.
But you're putting that into a documentary now. Tell us about your documentary. And the documentary's kicking off the Kerry Film Festival.
That's right.
That's tomorrow.
Yes, Hungry Hill is the opening film tomorrow evening, which is really great. So I made this film with my colleague Michael Hawley, my co-director. We started it in 2020. And we completed it in last kind of November.
Mm-hmm.
So
what's it about then?
It's about hill farming in Beara primarily. I live near Kenmare, and I have some, farm colleagues, Connie and John Doyle. Connie features in the film, and he's great. He's been a really big help to me, because it's tough on your own. So you need a community around you to help in a way, So So the farm is about hill farming, or the film, sorry, is about hill farming. But it's also about my personal story and how I came to Ireland.
And of course, Virgin Media, they're sponsoring the Best of Kerry Award at the Film Festival, which is important, I know, because film festivals like this are very important to people like you who are making documentaries and short movies like this, isn't it?
Film festivals are really vital, yes, and it's really always an opportunity to have when you can have a screening, and I'm really lucky that Hungry Hill has received a lot of support, and people are coming to see it, which is fantastic. Yeah, the festival is really important for the area, and also I think for the country. It's inspiring for young filmmakers, and it's great that we have a place to show our work.
And John, your film, I love this idea, what you're doing with this, because it's a Buster Keaton silent movie, Sherlock Jr. Yeah. So tell us what you're doing with this movie.
Well, the film was made in 1924, so it'll be 100 years next year.
Wow.
And it's fascinating, but in those days people would play the music live.
Yeah, you'd see the organist.
No soundtrack. Yeah, exactly.
The organist would come up out of the pit,
right?
Like when you're going to see this thing.
Well, we won't come out of the pit.
You're on stage.
We'll be on stage. There'll be two of us, myself and my colleague Finn Robinson, and we have got a massive equipment between synthesizers, old gramophones, steam irons, guitars, all different kinds of things, and mellotrons, and so we play the music live to the film.
I just love this idea.
It's really
brilliant.
Great fun.
When did you start doing this?
We only started it last April. I was commissioned to do this film, and the thing about it was we spent so long rehearsing it, watching the film, absorbing the film, knowing every move, because it happens really fast, it moves really fast, that we weren't prepared for the audience. So as we're watching the film, playing the music live, next thing you hear these kids laughing.
Yeah.
Like little kids, the film's 100 years old, and they're still excited by it, And,
so do you have to watch the film so many times that you know exactly what's coming up, and I need this instrument, I need this?
Yeah, and even still, you still have to be on the ball, because things happen so fast in it. You're thinking, oh, that's really, they're loving that, but this is, so it's like that. It's really, you have to be on top of it.
Do you know, we're just going back to, like you're saying, in Charlie Chaplin and doing the street performance. Isn't it great that that's still a tradition in Ireland? Because when you go to Tralee or in Galway or in Dublin, wherever, street performers are still there, and it's an integral part of our cities and towns.
And it's always changing, and people are, now it's really a career path as well. So many young musicians use it. They've got their CDs or their stuff and all their social media contacts on it as well. So
Mika, tell us about Hungry Hill. Then where does it start, and where can people see it tomorrow?
It's on at the IMC in Killarney, and it starts at 7:30.
Are you looking forward to it?
Yeah, I always get a bit nervous, no matter how many times it's screened.
Because you're a sheep farmer, you're a documentary maker, a filmmaker, and you're also an artist. You're a resident artist in Dublin.
That's right. I just started a residency at a place called the Fire Station Artist Studios in Dublin. So that's a really big change for me, because I'm out of my natural environment now. I'm in the city, so
you're a busy woman. And John, where can people see your film, Buster Sherlock Jr.?
Saturday night in the IMC in Killarney, and Sunday night in Satira in Tralee.
Well, it's great, and I'm sure,
nights.
And it's great that film festivals like this are happening, and it's great for Kerry, and of course, thanks to Virgin Media for sponsoring the Kerry Award the Best of Kerry Award at the Film Festival. Thank you both very much for joining us this morning. Real pleasure chatting to you, and of course, lots more still to come here from Tralee as we celebrate Virgin Media's 2-gig full fibre broadband in Kerry. But now it's back to studio.
Thank you.
Thank you
very
so
much, Alan. We will catch up with you again very shortly, because still to come, from sport to escorts, Alan is going to be giving us rolling updates from Tralee.
He knows so much about both. Is that what we're saying? Plus, Deric's having a pumpkin party in Killarney. We'll see you back here shortly.
Good morning and welcome back to Ireland AM. We've set up shop here in a very windy and a very rainy and a very stormy Tralee this morning. We're all here because Virgin Media is supporting local initiatives here in Kerry. And coming up this hour, step aside the roads of Tralee because this morning we find out what it takes to become the escort of the year at the festival. Plus, I'll be finding out what a double dribble is. No idea. We're going to be talking about basketball to two of the top Tralee warriors, to the players. That's coming up a little later on. Now, Tommy, you love playing with some balls too. And what else is coming up back in studio?
I do, thank you. Exactly. You're making that up. It's not windy at all. His hair has not moved an inch.
Seriously? There's plenty of hairspray in the thing.
Okay, I'm saying after the writer's strike, there's going to be a nomination for best stunting at the Oscars with that.
Go back in there and get yourself a cup of tea. We'll chat to you in a few minutes. Coming up this hour in studio, we are going to be joined by a crew of comedy queens as Amanda Brunker fills us in on her new venture in stand-up.
Yep.
Up at,
You're going to be asked to do it soon at 9:20. Broadcaster Deric Keane will be chatting about changing the narrative around the menopause. We have become so much better about talking about it over in recent years.
It's Menopause Day, is it not?
Menopause Day. Do you have the menopause? Are you all right? There we go. Menopause Day.
It.
That's it.
Also on the show, vet Martin Breen has the perfect pooch etiquette for our dogs this Halloween.
He's bringing in dogs as well, so very exciting. It is a French food affair in the kitchen this morning. Philippe Farino is here. Good morning, Philippe. How are you?
Good morning, everyone. How are you keeping?
I'm really good. What are we doing today?
We're going back to the 17th century, and for the first time, the crème brûlée was created. So, about that time, 1691, the first time the crème brûlée recipe was in a book. And we're going to make it today.
Crème brûlée. I was in Paris the last couple of weekends and I had so much crème brûlée. So I'm definitely looking forward to having more. At least there's no red wine and steak today.
But later on, maybe.
Maybe later on.
They've been commiserating over the rugby with each other for the last while there as well.
Exactly.
So we'll be talking to Philippe very shortly.
Thank you,
so
Philippe. And also Deric's given us pumpkin to talk about this morning. Nice. Deric, tell us more.
Yes, good morning, guys, and welcome down here to Killarney, County Kerry. Look what we've got for you here this morning. All the gang down here in the kingdom, and even Agatha the witch. What are we up to this hour, Agatha?
Well, I'm going to bring you to my witch's cottage, and then we're going to explore the farm, and I'm going to cast a spell on Ireland AM.
Ooh! So it's getting spooky, it's getting scary down here in Kerry. Back to you guys in studio.
I am looking forward to seeing that.
Yeah. Witch's cottage. I think that was quite saucy there, actually, I have to say. That's all coming up in just a little while.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
Yes, sure, we're live down here in Killarney in County Kerry. We have lots of excited kids here behind me because we're taking you on a tour of the pumpkin farm here. That's all to come at 9:10 later on this morning. So do hang with us for that. Promises to be lots of fun. Now, we're getting past 8 o'clock here together. Let's take a look weather-wise at how it's shaping up. And it's a very wet start through parts of the west in across southern and eastern regions. Still that status orange rain warning in situ for counties Cork, Kerry and into Waterford. That's until 1 o'clock later on this afternoon. Still pretty poor bad driving conditions, surface water, spot flooding out and about as well, so please do take extra care in those strong and locally gusty southeasterly winds. Now, right across the day, this time it is the time for parts of Leinster through Donegal, Cavan and into Monaghan, because you'll be under a status yellow rain warning for the remainder of the day. And once again, some heavy thundery falls as the back end of Storm Babette pushes up across the country. Still pretty windy out there today, but a lot milder, you'll be glad to hear, in terms of those values, with top temps in and around 13 to 16 degrees. So into tonight, we'll see that system of rain push northward across the country. In behind it, in fact, through the south, we're going to get a breather, and in fact we will see an improving outlook in terms of the weather, so that rain easing off and bright spells to follow through into tomorrow, with overnight lows again on the milder side there at 9 to 13 degrees. So that's how it's shaping up here in Killarney in County Kerry at the moment. They're very excited. We'll be back again live at 8:35.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates on Virgin Media One.
It's time now to take a look at this morning's paper, starting with the Irish Times. Its headline: hundreds killed after strike on hospital in Gaza City. Hamas and Israel blamed each other for an explosion at a Gaza City hospital last night. Health authorities say at least 500 people have been killed and many are still feared trapped under the rubble.
Hundreds killed on day of abject horror in Gaza. That's similarly the front page on the Irish Independent. There has been international condemnation of the strike as it was labelled a massacre.
The Examiner also leads with that story. Its headline reads: hundreds killed in airstrike on crammed Gaza City hospital.
Ashley Murphy trial. Here's the accused told Gardaí, "I am the murderer." That's the top story on the Daily Mail. On the opening day of the case, the Central Criminal Court heard that Joseph Puska, accused of the murder of Miss Murphy, admitted to the crime to Gardaí just 2 days after Miss Murphy was killed while jogging in Tullamore.
The Star also leads with that story. Its headline: stabbed in the neck 11 times. Yesterday, the Central Criminal Court was told that Joseph Puska's DNA was found under Aisling Murphy's fingernails and there was a 1 in 14,000 chance of it belonging to anyone else.
Yeah, the Mirror and the Sun also lead with that same story.
And the Herald goes with something else. Gangland target Nelly armed and dangerous. A major Garda alert is in place for Ireland's most under threat gangland target, James Nelly Walsh, who is considered armed, dangerous and to be hiding out in Kildare.
There you have it. Those are your newspaper headlines this morning. Some pretty horrific reading, so I thought I'd do a bit of digging into the newspaper, find something that interests me. Not that that doesn't interest me. So, did you know that apparently every time you put a couple of slices into the bread, Muireann, the toaster pops up with a chance of a free character reading? So I decided to go and get some toast, which we do. So get some toast.
Oh,
there.
it's almost like we knew we were going to do this.
We do. This is my plan. So what type of toast spreader are you? Are you a go-getter, which is somebody who puts a little bit of toast on? Are you a clumper, big clumps we're seeing there? The glider up in the top left, like just one big long one. So if you are a glider, which supposedly 2,000 people in this survey were, 50%, said that they're easygoing people who are calm even when confronted with change and good listeners. What are you?
I've no idea. Do you know what? I have never even thought about this in my entire life.
This is my toast, covered in butter.
But how did you do it?
Oh, like I spread, like it's.
Is
so
it
my
one go?
one is, do you want toast with that butter?
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh.
Okay. So what's my one? I go to the edges.
Are you doing this on purpose now?
No, that's how I butter my toast.
I can imagine you're just an old here and there all over
no,
the place.
that's how I would like to butter my toast. What?
So
hold on, this must mean it's something good. And you're like, there's no way she's like this.
Well, it says that you're methodical.
It says I'm what?
You're methodical.
Oh, this is a farce. This is lies. Imagine that this isn't true.
The type to plan a group holiday or Christmas dinners months in advance. That ain't you, is it?
I cannot believe that how you spread your toast actually lies about who you are as a person. I'm shocked.
Well, I could see you being a tear and spreader.
Shocked.
Fun, outgoing, can be erratic at times in their behaviour. Anyway,
how do you do yours?
They see the best in life and don't hold back when it comes to enjoying things they like.
Was this just an excuse for you to eat lots of toast this morning?
Let us know how you like your toast. 0896 111 111.
We'll talk to you in a minute back here in Ireland AM. We're just going to eat some toast now. Bye.
Very welcome back. It's time to chat with a crew of comedy queens on a mission to put female comedians centre stage.
There we go, providing some comedy relief for us this morning. Our comedy writers, Orla Doherty and Val Troy, along with... I don't know if anyone's going to know who this one is at all. Amanda Brunker is.
Oh, yeah, hi.
Oh, hi. Nice to meet you. You've never.
How are you?
Amanda.
Val and Orla have been sitting here so lovely getting ready. We've just been chatting to Amanda like we already.
Sorry about that. We're so ready.
Orla, let's chat about this. Yourself and Val, you're producing this night, and it's called Funny Women.
It's a Funny Women, all women stand-up live comedy show that we did our first one back in June, and we had so much fun we decided we'd do it again in November. And
in Whelan's.
In Whelan's on the main stage, and we sold out in June, didn't we?
We did. We sold out really quickly.
We're back, and Amanda's, I think, going to be the star, even though Deirdre O'Kane is the star.
Jesus, Deirdre O'Kane will murder you.
No pressure.
No pressure,
Just
Amanda.
kidding, Deirdre.
I was just about to say, she'll pull out. Don't be saying that.
What was the thinking of it? That why a women's only funny night?
Well, I suppose back in the day, there wasn't an enormous amount of representation of women in the comedy industry. And about 20 years ago, a lady called Lynn Parker set up the Funny Women organisation to address that imbalance and to bring women into the industry in a really supported, structured way through courses and workshops and live events, obviously, and an awards show. So I suppose over time, the dynamic has really changed and more women have come into the industry. So it's really an opportunity to showcase women in comedy and to showcase the best of Irish talent, to have some really established acts like Deirdre O'Kane and some newcomers, and somebody like Amanda who's going to do her comedy debut for us.
I know.
Popping my cherry.
Popping her cherry.
Why would you say she's just setting up the jokes for us? That's what you need to be doing. You do like to give a go at anything. Like, obviously, this is going to get people going. Remember when Amanda was on stage at Oxygen?
Well, you see, for everybody knows, there's no point in saying for anybody who doesn't know. I did the Oxygen Music Festival back in, I think it was 2011.
It was 2011, yeah.
Beyonce was playing that night, but a certain 6 o'clock news was doing Vox Pops. How do you feel about Amanda Brunker performing at Oxygen? Look at me. It was fabulous. I loved every minute of it.
Oh, he's enjoying it.
Look at it.
Headgear.
And you know what? It caused such a drama. I was trending on Twitter for 3 days solid, and I think I actually got the festival shut down. There was no more Oxygen after me. It got such bad publicity. People, the musos were outraged. They were trying to incite.
Val is just after taking out her phone going, what have we decided to do here?
But the way I see it is second time lucky trying something new.
Stand up.
It's not the second time. Like, you've tried loads of different things.
I know, but this is definitely something new. So
this
obviously,
is outside your comfort zone.
110%. I'm very comfortable in my material that I write, but I like somebody else to perform it. So this is definitely, while I'm confident in the material, I'm not confident in the delivery.
Will you practice? Will you like go to some little pub somewhere like and try to just gauge if people think it's funny or not, or like where the lines are? No.
Go big or go home.
We're just going to go for it. Obviously, I'm going to be standing in front of my mirror with a hairbrush for a long time.
Yes, obviously, yeah.
There's going to be a lot of going on here. So, and I've been recording myself. So I'm already annoying myself. So I don't know whether that's a good or a bad thing.
I'm just thinking, what is a stand-up set from Amanda Brunker? And I'm assuming we can't talk. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. Right. We can't talk about what you're going to be talking about. Am I right?
You could be on the right
I
line.
think I'm on the right track. I think I'm on the right track. 100%.
So it's obviously going to be talking. It's going to be self-deprecating. It's going to be obviously having kind of a look at kind of my real life and kind of being a bit of a slummy mummy and. Yeah, just kind of. I'm just going to be poking fun at myself. Like the girls don't even know what I'm doing. So I'm sure they're kind of bricking it because it's like, oh, what is she going to come out with? Is she going to be absolutely awful? But we'll just give it a whirl.
I think fair play. Come on.
Why not? You're
Totally brilliant. Pushing yourself outside, like, and that's what it's all about. In comedy, like, you'd be great at comedy. I'd say you'd be brilliant at it.
Once I can hold my nerve, I'll be fine. And I think that the secret. I've had a couple of friends. He's been in here before, I'm nearly sure, Paddy Cullivan. He's like, why don't you just do it yourself? He said, think about the wedge, you'll get more money. You don't have to pay other people. And I was like, think about, you sell out your venue and you get to keep all the money. And I'm like, sounds tempting.
Like that idea.
I like
that idea. That's what you need. But Orla, like yourself and Val, you've worked together. So you kind of came together as script writers in a writing group over Zoom?
Yeah, so when COVID hit, I used to be a professional squash coach and Val was an accountant. That went to pot and we joined a writing group online with Vanessa Fox O'Loughlin and Marie McHale called writinginc.com. And we kind of gravitated towards each other because I write funny stuff, she writes funny stuff, and we'd never met each other. We, I think, met in a bar in Ranelagh one night and we just kind of clicked. We're completely opposite people, like very polar opposites.
They're not, they're both nuts.
Yeah, well, I'm definitely more nuts than Val. But we connected, we decided, well, let's write something. And we wrote a screenplay called Menopause. And it's been optioned with an Irish production company. And so things have sort of really rapidly taken off. Like, we don't know what we're doing. We're a couple of chancers, really, I think.
This is it. If we knew what we were doing, we'd be dangerous. And I suppose we're comedy writers more so than performers. So I have my debut rom-com on the way. Orla has her memoir. And we figured the best way to stretch our comedy muscle was to do some live shows, which I'm very new to the stand-up comedy scene. I did my debut in April, and we're like, you know what, go big or go home. Okay. So we connected with Funny Women, this organisation, and we hosted our first live show, and our next one is coming up in Whelan's on the 6th of November. And we just can't wait. And we're just going from one adventure to the next, really.
I think it's a safe space. The reason why I liked the idea of this was the idea that there was other women there. And people, if they're going out on a Monday night, they want to be entertained.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
You know, it would be different if it was a Saturday night and people stumbled into it. People are making the effort to get out and go, which is actually very annoying because I have a lot of friends going and I'm like, please, why did any of you buy a ticket? Please don't go.
You don't want to recognise your face.
But also
supporting, that's lovely.
I couldn't back out of it. I've even got friends, I thought like there was a chance that I could back out of it. And then I had friends who told me they're up in Donegal, they've booked their hotel, they've booked their flights. I said, I can't back out there.
Gotta do it.
I can't do it, so I have to do it.
You have to do it.
There you go. Are you guys going to be performing in it as well?
Well, so we'll host it and we'll MC it. We'll do a little bit of, you know, you never know what will come out of us in between. I have a little bit of a background in stand-up. I hosted my own club in Portmarnock years ago, and I did a lecture picnic with Joanne McNally.
Oh,
wow. To get that in.
Okay.
To get that in.
Because if you think of Deirdre and
Who's she?
Joanne...
Sorry.
The women's comedy scene is growing massively, isn't it? Like, it's
huge. Phenomenal. And if you take even Joanne McNally, she sold out something like 70 nights in Vicar Street, which is absolutely unheard of. Deirdre's comedy royalty. We've Justine Stafford and Dirk Birch, Sinead Culbert, and they both have Funny Women track records as well. They were semi-finalists back in the day. And, like, it's just a phenomenal lineup. And Sophia Cadigan is a newcomer too. So it's about new voices, people on the way up, and a little bit of comedy royalty. And we try to create a little party as well. We've got a little music act coming on, so it's not just stand-up comedy. It's a big party.
If you need me to sing, I could.
You get the pink glasses.
Good to go. She'll do a bit of waxing that night. She'll do whatever you need.
Down Whelan's after that, right?
It's all good. I swear to God, saying all those names out and going, sure, we're going to do the same. I love that. Fair play. It's going to be brilliant. As you said, it's Funny Women Live in Dublin, and it's on in Whelan's on the 6th of November at 8 p.m.
Whoop, whoop.
Can't wait.
They're for the
debut alone. It's worth
it for the debut
just
alone.
To see me sink.
Just stop it. Make sure. Can someone have it on live? Because we've got to go to bed that night. So I just want to watch it the next day. Thank you so much for coming to us. Thanks a million.
All the very best.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back. Alan is in Kerry this morning where he's about to get up to speed on the thorny details from behind the scenes of the Rose of Tralee. We're making it sound very dramatic.
Alan, what are you up to?
Oh, yeah, it is. It's very dramatic. We're going to get all the gossip of behind the scenes. We are here in the Tralee Golf Club this morning, and they say behind every man is a better woman or another better man. But behind every rose is a better escort. And our next guest this morning is the Escort of the Year, Tommy Cunningham. Good morning to you, Tommy. Before we chat, let's take a look when he got his award, the prestigious title of Escort of the Year.
The Genetti Menswear Escort of the Year is... Tommy Cunningham!
There you go, getting crowned Escort of the Year. Congratulations to you. Were you expecting it?
No, honestly, no. And I just remember when Dahi O'Shea called my name out, being in absolute shock, but shock in the best possible way, you know?
So tell me, let's go back then on why you wanted to enter as an escort.
Yeah, so back in January, this wasn't even on my radar. But I suppose the Rose of Tralee always was. Growing up, like so many households across the country, the Rose of Tralee is such a big family event. And with 4 younger sisters, I didn't have much of an opportunity to change the channel anyway, so we grew up with it at home. But
Did the sisters want to go in to enter the Rose of Tralee? That's
actually the reason why I applied this year. My 2 sisters, in particular, Catherine and Anne-Marie, have always been set on being on the Rose of Tralee. But earlier this year, Catherine mentioned that, I might do it someday. And I kind of was taken aback by this, because for a girl who's always been so determined
to do it,
to kind of, but her mindset was, you know, when you get older, you get sense. I mightn't be on it.
Get sense not to do it.
Not to do it. So I went off. I went off and I applied in secret and went through the interview process. And I went back to her then after a few months and I said, "Oh, I'm going to be an escort this year." So I felt like I almost had a duty to do it for her.
Yeah.
And now her mindset's back to where it was. She can't wait for next year. Do you know?
Is she going to apply?
Yeah, I'd say she's
really?
highly likely, yeah.
Could you imagine if you had the escort of the year and then the Rose of Tralee in the one family? There'd be no living witches. There'd be no living witches. So tell me, what's the process like then to become an escort?
Yeah, OK, so the interview process, it is quite structured and it's step by step, but essentially what you're looking at is an online application of about 40 questions. If you're successful in that, you go on to your group interview with about 15 other escorts and observed by the Rose team. From that, you have your individual interview with a panel of 3. And then the ultimate test then is, if you pass all that, you're down to boot camp. And that's the making or breaking of you.
But I was reading this. You actually go to a boot camp and do like a military training thing. I mean, you're an escort. It's not the SAS.
No.
So what's the boot camp all about?
The boot camp, it puts us through our paces. It really does. But for all the right reasons. It just prepared us for the pressure and the busyness of Tralee. And like that, it made us work as a team. Do you know, it really built the foundation for us as a group of escorts to set us down to Tralee.
And then what's the banter like between the escorts? Did you all get on?
Oh, every minute, yeah. Now, in Tralee, obviously, tensions can run high, but we are like that.
And tensions run high in what way?
So, like that, it's so busy. It's so busy and everybody has their place to be. We have to be up at 7 o'clock in our uniform, you know, head to toe for uniform inspection.
And is it true that you... Look, I can't get over this. You actually get inspected in your, suit and tie. So
And
who comes along and inspects you?
So we have the most incredible chaperone team, but, you know, we're switched on. That's the phrase of Tralee. You're switched on when you're down there. So we line up, and in often cases we lined up by height. It wasn't great for my ego, but nice tall escorts. But we lined up by height, and head to toe you were checked, to make sure that you were prim and proper for the day ahead.
And then who chooses the escort of the year? Is it a panel, or is it among the guys themselves that they vote, or who chooses it?
So my understanding is that it comes down to a vote of the Roses and the escorts.
Okay.
So on the Sunday night before the Monday, we have a meal, and we're all given a sheet to fill out for 1, 2 and 3 kind of thing.
There you are now in your celebration. So everybody loved you then? Basically, is that the thing? So who was your Rose then this year?
The Arizona Rose.
Arizona. And did you just get on?
Oh, every minute, yeah. Now, the chaperone team as well, it's not just a random pairing like names of a hat. So our chaperone team kind of watch us all summer and observe us. And then the Roses are assigned according to personalities and who they think will bring out the best in the Roses.
There you are there with her. I mean, it just seems so mad that you have to go through all this to become an escort, though.
Yeah.
Like, it's such a process.
Such a process, but so worthwhile, so enjoyable. It really was the summer of my lifetime.
Really?
You know, from day one, going down there, and as I said, the boot camp, we went down on the Friday night, or the Friday we got down to the Meadowlands Hotel, and within 15 minutes, we'd no idea this was happening, but our phones were confiscated. So straight away, we're cut off from friends and family.
Why?
We're given 15 minutes with an emergency contact number to give out to our families and friends, but our phones were taken off us. We said the same.
This is for the whole weekend of the festival?
The boot camp.
Oh, the boot
camp, back in June. Taken off us, and we questioned it as well, but then Saturday morning we were up bright and early. We went down to Eclipse Activity Centre for the boot camp. Go all day, put through our paces. And that night, so this is where it all kind of came together. That night we were all around the boot camp. We were sleep deprived, we were hungry, we were tired, we had no phones.
SAS Tralee, here we come.
We all talked and opened up to each other.
All right, and that's what it's all about, is it?
That was the bond. That set us up for Tralee then.
Now, when you're not doing this, so you're a school teacher. Tell us about your school.
So I'm in the most incredible, well, I'm biased now, but the most incredible school. It's primary school, Kildare Town Educate Together, up in Kildare Town. So I've senior infants this year, and again, I'm biased, but they're a great class.
So what was all that like when you won? Did they know that you were going to do this?
My 5th class last year knew, and them and the parents were so supportive, but I found it was quite funny this year. We had our curriculum meeting in September, and that's where all the parents come in and we just give an outline of what the year will look ahead. And at the end, we always say, now, any questions we'll take now. And about 20 hands went up, and I just said, OK, and if there's anything to do with the Rose of Tralee, I can talk about that outside. And about 15 hands went down.
They all wanted to know about that.
Yeah.
I believe it was lovely, all the kids lined up with roses when you came back and
They had
stuff.
little pictures that they drawn and stuff like that. So I still have a lot of them. You know, I keep a lot of those too.
That's so cute. Yeah. And of course then, like when you won that and getting all the response from the school, but there was something very special then happened in Tralee then as well, because you got proposed to.
Yeah, that's right. So the Monday night was the announcement of Escort of the Year. Tuesday night was our very own Roisin Wiley was Rose of Tralee. So come Thursday, my partner said to me, oh, what would you like to do before we leave Tralee?
Look at you. This is Paddy.
And
so like that wrapped off a fantastic time then, obviously.
Do you know what, it was a nice close to the week, and it was also a nice start to what the year ahead as well. So
well, look at and so obviously there's, as Escort of the Year, there's things that you have to do all year. Yeah,
all year. Yeah, so we're very busy with different events and that. So I'm organising the New Year's Eve ball at the moment, and we've got our charity trip to Chernobyl in February as well. So you know,
and you have to organise a wedding, obviously.
Yeah, on top of it all. So, the wedding will be a breeze after all this.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us, and congratulations once again. That's Tommy Cunningham there now. We are here all morning from Tralee to celebrate Virgin Media's rolling gig broadband, the 2-gig full fibre broadband in County Kerry. So there's lots more still to come this morning, so do stay with us. But for now, it's back to studio.
Thank you very much, guys. Yeah, very good. Look at how gorgeous that background is now as well. And congratulations to Tommy. Now, coming up, we've got a dreamy dessert in the kitchen.
We certainly do. It's crème brûlée.
Crème brûlée.
Yeah. It's being served up after the break. The French
Philly.
must have loved you when you were over there. Thanks.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
Now, you are very welcome back. It is a perfect... Well, this isn't a midweek treat.
No.
This is, like, fancy. If you're going to be having a house party or, like... Well, not a house party, like, people over and you want to impress them.
That's sort of... Most house parties are Dutch Gold and Buckfast.
It's not midweek. This is high-end.
If you're doing this on a Wednesday, fair play to you. You've got your life in order. Philippe Farino is here to bake up the classic, the crème brûlée. Philippe, welcome.
How are you guys?
Now, for us, we're kind of going, this is absolutely ridiculously hard. You have to spend hours and hours and hours.
You remember when the last time I came, I make a very easy recipe.
You did?
It's the same.
Okay.
Absolutely the same. So you're going to boil 450 grams of cream.
Yeah.
And when that's going to simmer, you're going to add your coffee and any shot of alcohol you wish.
Is that just normal coffee?
Espresso.
Okay.
Espresso, and it's cold or hot?
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Yeah,
doesn't really matter. So that is very easy. And after the alcohol, you can add tea Maria, you can add amaretto.
Oh.
Any alcohol goes with... is my oven for the crème brûlée, you see?
Instead of the coffee, or is that with the coffee? Here, let me go
with the coffee.
Off here.
Yeah, so we're going to open it, and the reason I did it is just to show people what it should be when it leaves the oven. Okay?
Oh, wow.
That's
so you
it.
put it in the water.
So what I'm going to finish the recipe, I explain everything from A to Z. So now we have the cream with your alcohol on the coffee, and it's been boiled.
Yes.
So far, it's very easy. In a mixing bowl, you're going to have 6 egg yolk and your sugar.
Okay.
That's it.
Okay.
You blanch, as we said, mix all that together. And when that is done, you're going to pour your cream over.
Now, can you boil the cream too much? Like,
yes, if you boil too much, it's not that. If you boil too much, it's going to be too much foam on the top. Okay. And you don't want to have too much foam.
Okay.
Okay. The foam is not good when you do your crème brûlée. So you mix a little bit and you finish with your spatula.
Because I'd be worried that I'd scramble it.
No.
No?
No. It's the reason you boil your cream and your egg yolk are on the side. You pour over and it's finished.
That's it?
That's it.
No way.
That's it. And after that, you pour in your ramekin. You cook in your oven 45 to 50 minutes, depending on your oven, obviously.
Hold on. You forgot about the water in the bottom of the thing?
We put a little bit water.
Okay.
Because you don't want the bottom of your crème brûlée burning. If you don't put any water on the bottom of your tray, your crème brûlée is going to burn on the bottom.
Okay, so that's you create a bain-marie.
Exactly.
And there you go.
Well done. And is a steam, does the steam come off that as well?
Your oven must be with no fan at all.
Okay.
It cooks slowly at 140 degrees for about 45 to 15 minutes. And when it's cooked, it's going to be like that. You see, look, it's going to be rubbly.
Oh,
Are you serious?
That's it.
That's it.
So, you see, it's very easy.
Okay.
French cooking is easy, guys.
Yeah.
So now I have a question for you.
See that?
What would be the difference between a crème brûlée, a crème catalane, and a Cambridge burnt cream?
Okay, so Catalan is Spanish,
Yeah.
crème brûlée is French.
Yeah.
That's all I
I'm
have.
say crème brûlée has got like the sugar on top, burnt.
Yeah.
Catalan. I actually
I was just about to say, come on, let's work this out.
So first of all, the crème brûlée, it was made for Philippe d'Orléans, who was the brother of Louis XIV.
Oh.
And he found his cream, at the time, he has a cream dessert too cold.
Okay.
So the chef came, François Massalio, came and decided to put some sugar and to burn it.
Oh, right.
And here we are, the crème brûlée.
That's the crème brûlée.
And that here we are, the crème brûlée happened.
Look at that.
So
like
you said it was
crunchy.
1691, is it?
1691, the first time he was on a book by François.
Yeah.
Then in 1870, we find in an English cookery book the Cambridge burnt cream. But the difference with the crème brûlée in England, they put milk inside.
They put milk.
They put milk. There's cream and milk.
Okay.
Where the French is very rich. It's just cream.
They're judging the English for their milk. No.
And the crème catalane is the same, is milk, and they put a little bit of cornstarch inside.
Oh.
That's it.
Okay. So then this is where you get to do the fun stuff.
Exactly. What is important when your crème brûlée is cooked is to put in a fridge for 3-4 hours to be cold. So the cream needs to be cold. Then you add your sugar.
Right.
So now you can do that on a Friday evening.
Here we go.
Can I have a go?
He wants to have a go, Philippe.
Right.
Put the sugar here. I don't want to. And you have to put a big chunk of sugar. Don't
Do we
be
have
shy.
fire starter ready to go? Do we have the prodigy ready to play this morning?
Go for it. Go for it. Don't worry. It's very rich. Yeah, we are Wednesday morning.
It's
it's
the
fine.
French, of course.
Exactly.
Right. How do I do it now?
You push here.
Push here.
And I. There we go. Oh my. And now we have a new chef for the crème brûlée.
Oh, yes. Look.
No, look. Go. No, don't try. Don't. It's fine.
Keep going.
Yeah, happy go. So you see? Now you can do that more in tonight.
We've created a monster. He's never going to give that up.
Oh, my
That's his new. Please.
You know what I have done for you? Because the crème brûlée is lovely. We're going to have a financier. It's a little cake made with almonds. And it goes very
with
well.
almonds.
Yes.
Okay, I'm going to eat
Look
some of the crème brûlée. Are you going to have
Did you make? No, yeah.
Not good? No.
Chef, little bit more burn.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah, little bit more
listen,
burn.
you don't tell me
more
that.
caramel, you see?
I'm going to crack into this one and literally crack into this one.
Yeah, you should be cracking. Absolutely. There we go. Absolutely.
So more burn.
amazing.
So what is the perfect?
Listen, the perfect is what you like as a caramel, but you see, the caramel, when it's cold, you need to crack.
Okay.
You know, that cracking caramel, and that is what is important. Listen, well done, and anyway, thank you for your help.
My
it's good.
goodness.
Thank you for your
Very
help. Like he's
tasty.
trapping a child in the kitchen. Thank you so much, Philippe.
Thank you, guys.
Philippe Farino, thank you so much for that beautiful French dessert.
The crunch is good
It's
on
so
that.
good. We'll be back with you in Ireland AM in a minute. He's got to eat all this in 30 seconds.
Perfect coffee every time. Tassimo sponsors cookery on Ireland AM.
Good morning and welcome to Ireland AM. We are here in Tralee this morning and we did promise you some views, and just look at that. Doesn't that look amazing? But it is quite windy, still quite stormy. But we are here, we're outside just to get those views in. Now, coming up in this hour of the show from the Tralee Golf Club here, we are going to be talking from Gaelic to basketball court. Yes, he's the Kerry sporting sensation who's made his mark. Kieran Donaghy will be chatting to us at 9:35. And also, I might get a little bit of a dribble, not this kind of a dribble with a ball. You know what I'm talking about? That's all coming up. What's happening in studio, Muireann Tommy?
Thank you very much, Alan. Yes, I'm here with my friend, well, Peanut and Muireann. Say hello to Peanut.
Hello, Peanut. Hello,
gorgeous.
Precious.
Coming
Peanut is
up
a 4.5-month-old chihuahua.
with Halloween coming up and fireworks and everything else going off. We have vet Martin Breen. He's going to be joining us to talk about sustainable pet ownership and, of course, minding your pets this Halloween. And little Peanut here.
And there's going to be a couple of dogs here available.
He's gorgeous, little boy.
Available for adoption as well, so we're going to be talking about that as well. Oh my God. And plus, we're talking all things about the menopause and the changes needed when it comes to women's health. That is at 9:20 this morning. Oh, if you're going through the change, just get a dog. Maybe it'll help you.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates in Virgin Media One.
Yes, thank you very much. You're live down here at Killarney Pumpkin Farm in County Kerry. We're talking all things pumpkins and Halloween traditions in the next few months. So do hang with us for that. Now, out there at the moment, some very heavy rain through parts of Munster. Still that status orange for counties Cork, Kerry and into Waterford until 1 p.m. this afternoon. So please do take extra care if you are driving and motoring out and about this Wednesday morning. Right across the day then, we're going to see that slow-moving system storm by bit push up across the island, bringing with it, once again, heavy and thundery conditions, that ongoing risk of spot flooding and surface water. Top temps on the up at 13 to 16. Into tonight, it's going to be a wet, another windy one, but improving through the southwest as those winds abate, and he's back into tomorrow morning with overnight lows there again on the mild side at 9 to 14 degrees. So that's how we're shaping up for now. Come back to us live here in Killarney in a few moments' time.
You need to be chilled to handle Irish weather. That's why Chill sponsor weather updates in Virgin Media One.
Thanks very much. We're going to get back down to Deric very, very shortly, but we were talking earlier on about a study that looks at people and their toast and how much they do. What do they do? Do you cover it in butter? Do you just do the edges, whatever else? Ashton said, Muireann Tommy.
A behavioural psychologist got involved with this. What your toast says about you.
Yeah, there you go. I like my toast the same way as you. Loads of butter and nice and warm, melted in it. Gorgeous.
And then people giving out about cold toast, hot toast. Yeah. There's actually loads of messages on toast, but right now we do have to go back because Deric is mad for his pumpkins.
They're all into carving pumpkins as well. So let's find out how we do it. Deric, take it away.
Yes, good morning, guys, and welcome down here to Killarney, County Kerry! Oh, we're having great fun here around Killarney Pumpkin Farm. DB O'Connor is with us. Good morning
to you, Deric.
DB.
Welcome to Kerry.
Yeah.
Welcome to the Killarney Pumpkin Farm.
It's great to be down here in the kingdom. Now, first up, we're going to get into the farm before we get into the pumpkin carving. Oh, look, we have a couple of tears down here.
Sure, that's part of it.
That's part of it. Tell us about the farm itself.
The farm itself, well, it's originally would have been my grandfather bought a bit of land. My father added to it, so I've been here for a couple of generations. And we came up with this idea of the Killarney Pumpkin Farm. So basically, when you arrive here, you arrive into the courtyard, and you have options. You can head over for the witch's cottage, which is actually an old cottage lived in by the Manny family. The cottage itself has a cauldron. It's got a witch inside there. She's brewing up spells and potions
and lotions, which is great.
All decorated and very witchy. So much so that most kids are convinced that she
lives there.
She does live there. She does live there. You can make your way up to the bonfire, which we call it now. Originally a bonfire. It would have been, and then you can make your way down then into the ghost bus. Ghost bus then is a walk-through scary bus. I would originally have done tours around Killarney with us, but it's been repurposed, shall we say.
And landed here in the farm, and then from there then onto the corn maze.
And then on up through the scary boreen, up through the corn maze. You make your way through the corn maze, loads of kind of dead ends and stops and twists and turns in it, and then you arrive at the pumpkin patch.
And it is fantastic because you have hundreds of pumpkins out there.
Literally hundreds, thousands of pumpkins. We've got a huge selection of wheelbarrows, large and small. You get your wheelbarrow and you just let loose on the field, and you pick and you forage and you look, and you find the perfect pumpkin to take home and carve.
And that's what I love about it. The kids can get out, they can get mucky, they can get stuck in.
They can get stuck in. They can, and they love it. They love the freedom. People are saying, "What do you?" I think it's the one big thing is they just love to be left to run in the field and picking their pumpkin, and it's like a treasure hunt.
And obviously, as a small business owner, we have 2 gig full fibre broadband here, courtesy of Virgin Media in the county itself. What does it mean to you operating a business like this?
Hugely important for rural Ireland, the broadband, and the quicker it's rolled out, the better. It's like we need this to operate businesses like this. You know, I don't want to work in an urban environment. You know, I love being out and about in the country, and I want to, you know, keep this going and to be able to work and stay here.
Yeah, keep your operation.
And the fibre broadband is hugely important for that.
Talk about the history of the pumpkin then. We're starting off with the gourds here in front.
Well, originally, I don't know whether you know this or not, but originally the pumpkin was a turnip. It's an old Irish story about a man called Jack, a nasty man. The end of the story involved a pumpkin being carved out to hold one of the coals of the fires of hell. So this story was taken to America by Irish immigrants, and lo and behold, the pumpkin became, or the turnip became a pumpkin.
Yeah.
We imported the whole thing back into Ireland, so much so that in recent years, if you kind of ask the younger generation, you know, they think Halloween is an American festival.
Tradition, yeah.
But it's a Celtic festival. It is one of the 4 major fire festivals of the Celtic calendar.
Samhain.
So this festival is going back nearly 2.5. Its origins are 2,500 years old, and all the traditions that we carry on today, the dressing up. All of these have their origins in the Celtic festival.
Now, carving the pumpkin as well. These are the traditional pumpkins that you pick up in the field.
Yeah, these would be jack-o'-lanterns. This particular brand is called jack-o'-lanterns.
Yes, now we've been busy carving a pumpkin this morning.
Yes, we were making an attempt at it. You were making an attempt at it.
We tried to get Ireland in, so we're going to finish off carving the pumpkin here live in air. I believe you have a celebrity story involving Robert Sheehan. Tell us about that.
Actually, last year Robert appeared on the Late Late Show, and he said he had a story about something that happened to him on his way to Dublin.
Yes.
He actually has relations in, I think, back in the Killarney area. So he revealed on the show, on the Late Late Show, that he had seen the signs for the Killarney Pumpkin Farm.
Yes.
Made his way up. We're closed midweek. Disappointed. He wanted to take a pumpkin home to his family, so he proceeded to scale the gate.
Under the cover of darkness.
Under the cover of darkness. Made his way into the pumpkin farm, picked his perfect pumpkin, put 20 euros on the counter, and hopped back out over the gate. So he reckoned it was easier to ask forgiveness rather than permission. So he actually contacted us on our social media, and we said great and fabulous. And the publicity, as you can imagine, my phone melted the next morning when I woke up.
But he paid for the pumpkin.
He paid for the pumpkin. That's the most important.
That's the most important. Where can we find out more online, by the way?
In KillarneyPumpkinFarm.ie.
All right, there you have it, guys. And look at this big boola bus, big round of applause. Here we go, Ireland AM. Not a bad effort down here in Killarney. Thank you so much for joining us here, DB. Back to you guys in the studio. Big cheer, guys! Hey!
Deric.
Oh, here we go. This fella loves Halloween. He gets very competitive about stuff like this.
Could try harder, I'd say.
If you put a pumpkin down, you'll have a carved in 5 seconds.
What's he been doing?
And he carved something especially for the show that he works on.
Thank you very much, Deric. Very interesting. I love Halloween. Love all those pumpkin farms and stuff too.
Yeah, we have to show you a picture of his house. He goes all out for Halloween. At some stage, you'll love it.
Anyway, coming up after the break, Lorraine Keane is going to be here. She shares her experience on the menopause and some simple lifestyle changes that could make all the difference.
Tommy knows them all. We'll talk to you shortly. He's done them already. Oh, Lorraine. She just went, it's all ahead of you. As I say, menopause is something every woman will go through in their life, but there is still, honestly, so much that's unknown about it.
So, here to discuss managing menopause and hormone health is broadcaster Lorraine Keane. Good morning to you. And consultant endocrinologist and author Dr. Mary Ryan.
Thank you.
Right? Yeah,
yes,
endocrinologist.
yes.
Great stuff. Thank you both for coming in. It is, I think, National Menopause Day, I think, as well.
World Menopause Day.
Lorraine, you have been quite open in talking about it, which is something I think in years gone by was never done.
I think I was the first one to come out and talk about my perimenopause experience, which, Tommy, you're right, was so difficult at the time because nobody was talking about it. And back then, it was a taboo subject. You know, it was actually seen as a dirty little secret. When you think about it from the generations past, you just didn't discuss it, you just get on with it.
Okay.
And as a result, a lot of women suffered in silence. And I had suffered in silence for so long that that's kind of what gave me the encouragement to go out and share my story, because I just didn't want other women to have to go through the same thing as me. There was no need to, once you know.
Because it has gotten so good. Like the last 8 years have been a game changer in relation to people talking about this.
Yes.
Well, I think an awful lot. I was on holiday recently with the girls, and they said every time I hear the word perimenopause, someone has to put €1 in the thing. We're not doing it, right? But how did you realise that you were like, okay, there's symptoms, there's something going on here, I don't feel myself?
Yeah, well, it was probably in my late 30s, so I was one of the unfortunate ones that would have gone into perimenopause much earlier. Normally it'd be 45, but certainly after 40. And I just didn't, as you said there, feel myself. I felt completely unbalanced. I felt like I was going mad at times. My symptoms were that I wasn't sleeping at night, so I had disrupted sleep. So I'd waken up, 3 to 5 times a night, and then it'd take me ages to go back to sleep. And I just thought it's because I was a busy working mum, and I was juggling everything, and I'd have lists in my head, and that's why I couldn't get back to sleep. I'd wake up the next morning, and because of that, I would be really tired, low energy, low mood, irritable, little or no libido, because you're clearly not going to feel amorous if you haven't slept and if you're really tired. The physical changes then for me were I was getting hormonal breakouts, so adult acne, cheers, so it was not bad enough aging. And then my hair was falling out, so, my skin, my hair, my nails were affected. I always had night sweats, and I again put that down to a kind of fast metabolism. Like, I've never had a hot flush still to this day. So I just didn't think. Yeah. And anytime I saw anything to do with menopause, peri or otherwise, Muireann, I would just skip through, whether it was online or in a magazine or newspaper. I thought, that's not me, for years. And then when I realised that they were hormone-related symptoms, and if I knew all of my options, particularly lifestyle changes and things like that, then I could manage those symptoms and actually feel better.
Absolutely.
So
that's what it is.
That's what I did.
We hear HRT is kind of the main treatment, Mary, for this, but you didn't go on to HRT. You went kind of natural remedies. So what sort of treatments are, like what sort of natural ways can you go as opposed to have to go to HRT?
I'm delighted we're discussing it this time, because the mainstay of the Hormone Control Centre controls all your muscles, all your immune system. So in perimenopause and menopause, the hormone that controls the whole thing is going up. So your Hormone Control Centre is taking a bit of a wobble. So therefore there's knock-on effects, as Lorraine said, aches and pains in the muscles, feeling, moody, not tired, or feeling very tired, not sleeping. So I always want lifestyle change first. I want people pacing. Remember that Hormone Control Centre needs to be recharged just like your phone. So particularly if you're going through a hormone flux and hormone imbalance, as you are in perimenopause and menopause, when it's been put off sort of kilter, then you need to recharge more. And women don't generally do that, but everyone first but themselves. So pace, eat really healthily, 3 good meals a day. We know the Hormone Control Centre doesn't like excess sugar, so cut back on your sugar. Your 3 healthy meals, your 2 healthy snacks, and make sure you get your 8 hours, and make sure you don't overdo exercise. We see women, because metabolism is slowed down, they exercise really fast, thinking they're going to lose weight. That's not going to make you put on weight excessively, because you're making your hormone control center be more tired, and therefore metabolism is going to slow down.
Compound
yes,
symptoms.
Yeah. So it's all about a balance. With everything, extremes of nothing, it's all about a balance. So lifestyle, pacing, getting your sleep, and exercising appropriately. So, 150 minutes a week is what we're supposed to do. But I get women coming in and they're just running the roads because they're putting on weight, as you do when your metabolism slows down in perimenopause and menopause. But the whole thing is, pull it back, get the energy up, 10 out of 10, and just pace, listen to your body. Wow. That's the key.
Exercise less after 40 and rest more. I mean, that's actually a lovely message, isn't it? But do the right type of exercise. Like, we need weight resistance training. So, reformer Pilates or weights, just small weights, things like that for bone density and for muscle mass, because again, they deteriorate after 40.
Can I ask you quickly as well with this, Lorraine, when you're going through this, like your husband, partner, Peter, what's the relationship like with him when you're going through, you're irritable, you're not getting much sleep?
Yeah.
Do you talk about this with your partner? How does it affect
Peter
the
could
relationship?
probably do this interview better than me at this stage, Tommy, because we've talked so much about it.
Did he know, though? Did he know what you're going through?
No, I didn't know, and he didn't know. And actually, when I found out and then started talking to him, and talking is key, communication is key, not only women with women, you know, to support each other and to share. But women with men and with partners and with sons and daughters.
Sharing the load with the kids and everything else
well, I think he was relieved, to be perfectly honest. And certainly from the women that we've spoken to around the country over the last 8 years, their partners are relieved because they immediately think it's them or there's something wrong with the relationship. And actually it's not, you know. It's just the fact that you're having to cope with so much. So, you know, when I shared it with Peter and when I was coming out publicly to talk about it, and when I say this, it sounds so ridiculous, but sounds so ridiculous. But when I asked Peter, you know, well, do you think it'd be like, are you going to be okay with this if I go out and start talking about this like the lads? Do you know what I mean? Like it's ridiculous that I even said that. But he said, absolutely not, you know. I think you should do it. And he now says, because when we come off the stage, when we're doing our events and things like that, and I'd always ring Peter from the hotel room, no matter what I'm doing. But he said that he's never heard me on such a high and buzzing so much than since I started talking about perimenopause and menopause and hormone health. And it's because we're reaching women. And you hear their stories, and we know we're helping them.
The thing is, there's so much, and we're all discovering so much all the time. But Mary, honestly, it does feel like you need a degree in all this stuff, hearing everything. But you were here before, and Alan was sitting here, and you mentioned hormones and men, and it was like his head exploded. He was like, "But you really don't have hormones. What are you talking about?" The thyroid, right? The thyroid represents huge issues for men and women, underactive, overactive thyroid. So what happens when it's not working properly? And this is for men and women.
Women, yeah. So if the thyroid is underactive, you're going to put on loads of weight, you're going to have dry skin, dry hair, you're going to feel very lethargic. If it's overactive, you're going to be irritable, you're going to have palpitations, excess adrenaline rush, because thyroid is critical for all muscles. Yeah, it's here in our neck. Yeah. It's absolutely critical for your metabolism, for every single muscle. It's so critical, and it links so well with your pituitary gland as well, which is the hormone control centre.
So you're talking about the hormone control centre, right?
So the hormone control centre is here, and basically that controls everything, including the thyroid. But there's a real positive and negative feedback system between the hormone control centre and every organ in the body, including the thyroid. So the body is just amazing at turning on and shutting off things. But thyroid is critical for metabolism, for fertility, for everything.
Yeah.
How do you know it's underactive or overactive?
So if you're, by a blood test. But if you're feeling tired, and this is where I always say to women, if you're feeling tired, yes, it could be menopause, it could be period related, but it could also be thyroid related. So it's very important to go to your doctor. They will do a physical check and they'll take the bloods. But the blood test shows up if the thyroid is overactive or underactive, Tommy.
And I have an underactive thyroid, which I didn't know about until I did blood tests. And you're more prone to osteoporosis if you have an underactive thyroid. So recently, and then I actually last year walking the dogs on a dodgy curb, fell over and fractured my ankle. So I thought, oh my God, this is not good. So went to get a DEXA scan, and that's something that a lot of women don't realise they need to do. And you need to do it after 45.
Why?
Because to check your bone density then, Muireann, so you have a baseline.
Okay.
I just did one recently because of that and because of my underactive thyroid, and thankfully got really good results. But now I have a baseline that I can work from, and I actually brought the cameras with me in to the scan, because a lot of women are afraid, like when you hear another scan, another, whatever, you always think intrusive, but it's not. It's so easy. So I filmed it for my Instagram, so it's up there to show women how simple it is and how easy it is. But the lifestyle changes thing is so important, and the one thing that kind of upsets both of us is when HRT is not your only option.
It's not the only option.
Like try the natural route, like Menamin is a supplement.
But menopause is a positive, it's a positive thing. It happens to every woman, but it's positive another 50 years left.
We could talk about this for about an hour and a half. There's so many things going on. There is so much information online. Make sure that you check it out there. Lorraine Keane and Dr. Mary Ryan, who's a consultant endocrinologist. Thank you both so much for joining us on World Menopause Day.
Thank you.
Let's say it happening.
Hello, you're very welcome back. Now it's time to get back to Tralee, where Alan is catching up some basketball big shots.
Indeed. Alan, how are your skills, babes?
Well, my skills not too good, thanks guys, but we are here in beautiful, look at this. the sun hasn't come out really. That's a bit of a stretch. But we are seeing some lovely scenery here this morning. Yes, there has been a huge surge in popularity in basketball in recent years in Ireland, and the Tralee Warriors are not shy in taking charge on the court. And we're joined by two of the best in Tralee, Muireann Tommy and Rap Boydivas. Did I get it? Boydivas. As we discuss match night supporters and winning the Super League. Good morning to both of you. Thanks very much for joining us. And Kieran, we're saying the rise in basketball over the last couple of years. Have you noticed it? Has it got much better?
Oh yeah, no, it's been huge. Yeah, I think the accessibility for kids to have it on their phones, from the NBA to parents bringing their kids to all the Super League venues, like the crowd attendances around Ireland have gone up hugely from when I played over 20 years ago. It would have been kind of smaller crowds. So you can see it, the amount of jerseys kids have on. The both academies here in Tralee with the Magic and the Brendans, there's nearly over 1,000 kids between the both academies, so there's huge interest in Tralee is massive. And
as the Tralee Warriors, you try and make it a special night. Like it's all lights and it's all action. It's not just, oh, we'll go in, sit and watch a match. It's all about the atmosphere and about creating something special on the night.
Yeah, exactly. For the young kids that come in, you kind of got to grab them more than just a game. So with the help of yourselves, Virgin, it's been brilliant. We've new laser light show inside, we've new smoke machines. So we kind of go all out and that kind of thing and to involve the kids. So getting them out in the half court, getting them to shoot free throws with prize money, getting them to put on wraps, big jersey and big shorts, and they try and run down and do a layup with the gear down the floor.
Literally the shirts hanging down the floor.
It's hilarious. But we basically looked at the NBA and said, how can we do it on a micro budget? So yeah, it is more than just a game in Tralee. We've got a 10-man committee, and our main focus every Monday night ahead of the following home game is what can we do to make it a great show all around, that it's more than just a basketball game.
Which is great, isn't it, to make it an experience. And you did mention there that Virgin Media, they're sponsoring the MVP, which is the most valuable player. So it's a bit like man of the match. So how important is that for you guys?
It's been brilliant. Like they sponsor the MVP and they sponsor Game Night Entertainment. So that's why we've been able to go out and get a bit more. But Rap was the MVP at the weekend, and yeah, it's.
So why were you there? Why did you get that award? What did you do? What was so special about you last weekend?
Rebounded the ball, just like he said, told me to do. So yeah, I just did my job really.
Now tell us, you're originally from Lithuania. And I believe that basketball is just huge in Lithuania.
Yeah, massive. Our national sport. Our second religion.
It's your national sport? Really?
Yeah. So our second religion is huge. I mean, it's in our blood, so I can't go without basketball.
So when you were growing up, was everybody's involved in basketball?
Yeah, pretty much everyone around you, your neighbour, your teacher in school, probably involved in basketball, like, you know.
But even if you're not, now you're a tall guy, but if you're even smaller guys, they all want to play basketball.
Everything is about basketball, no matter how tall, how big, how short, like how fast, how slow, you're still playing basketball.
And then how was that then, if you're coming from something like that and you come to Ireland, where it probably wasn't as, you'd probably go culture shock, or does anybody play it here?
Yeah, exactly. Like when I came for the first time, I was like, where's basketball court? I saw no basketball courts outside. I was like, what am I going to do? But I found my home in St. Brendan's and Warriors, so they took me in.
And you also went to America, so what was the experience like there? Because obviously that's the home of it.
Yeah, it was great. Look, you learn a lot about yourself. You come back and you just see basketball excel here in Tralee especially, so it's great to see. And you came back a different player, a different person.
What do you learn? What is the grassroots basics over there that you could learn that maybe we need to follow here?
Train every day, probably. Have more courts, more availability to basketball around Tralee and Ireland, really.
And the standard then, because Kieran, you must notice then, if we're getting this, if it is becoming more popular, then the standard has to increase. So obviously you need professional players in all the teams. And is that what happens? How many professionals are in the team at the moment?
Yeah, we have 4 in Tralee, and most teams now would have kind of 4 or 5. The league expanded that we were only allowed to play 1 American-born player on the court last year, and they changed that rule to now have 2. So every team has 2 Americans that are brought over from America to help your club be successful. That's obviously raising the standards because of the amount of players that are on the floor.
Look at you there, Junior. Look at that.
But yeah, having those guys on the floor, they really raise the standards. The likes of Rap, who was a Tralee-born player who we lost when he was 18, when he was like, you know, this underage phenom playing on the Irish basketball team, became an Irish citizen, all that kind of stuff. Then we lost him to the States, which was huge. But then I think a lot of clubs now are trying to maybe bring back their players after their 4 years in college to come back into the team, And if you have to play them as a professional, you do that because they're linked to the town, the kids know them, the kids want to see them come back. They've got a natural want to really deliver for the team because it's their hometown.
Yeah.
And that's what Rap has done so far this season when he's come in. And,
so is he going to be professional now next year, yeah?
I'd say, yeah, he'll probably be backing up that tree, so we'll have to look after him. He's one of our own.
And of course, people know you as a very famous Kerry GAA player. So were you doing both then? Did you keep the basketball up to a certain extent when you were playing the GAA?
Yeah, I did. There was probably 6 or 7 years in the middle where I had to cut the basketball, but Jack O'Connor was very good to me. I remember leaving a training session on a wet Wednesday night over in Killarney, and we were playing the Killarney Lakers in Tralee in a big Super League game, sold out 1,000 people in the complex. And I remember running up to Jack with about 10 minutes to go in the session going, Jack, it's nearly half-time now in the game. Can I just go over and play the second half? He just threw his eyes up to heaven and left me off. So that wouldn't happen these days.
Yeah.
And Eamon was very good to me near the end of my Kerry career when we were getting the Warriors off the ground. He was very understanding and left me play the basketball throughout the year and come back into the football afterwards.
So the Tralee Warriors one to watch this year?
Hopefully, that's the plan. We've a lot of work to do. We've 4 or 5 new guys into the group, so we've got to get used to each other and how we play. But we're really looking forward to it. And if we can get the home crowds coming like they have over the last number of years, they really help us win games at home. And then we just have to perform.
Never mind the playing; it's the smoke machines and all the lights are getting them in. Listen, thank you so much for joining us this morning. That's been brilliant. Now, that's a slam dunk here in Tralee as we mark Virgin Media's 2 gig full fibre. See what I did there? 2 gig full fibre broadband rollout. I'm going to shoot some hoops with the lads, but back to studio now for the moment.
The slam dunk.
That's a slam dunk, Al. Nice.
He's going to shoot some b-ball outside of the school and a couple of guys. They're up to no good. Anyway.
Very good.
Oh, God. Right. Coming up next here
Alan,
in studio.
Making it rain in Tralee, you know.
We're talking all about sustainable pet ownership.
Yeah, stay tuned for some climate-conscious critters. That's coming up after the break.
Shooting some...
Now, you're very welcome back. So we're, of course, all thinking more sustainably when it comes to our food, clothes and travel. So why not with our pets?
Absolutely. Vet Martin Breen is here with us this morning to talk more about this with, I've got Peanut, and that's Masha.
This is Masha.
They're absolutely adorable.
They're adorable. And if any viewers are watching and thinking about adopting a pet, because that was one of the topics we said we'd mention about there's so many pets out there looking for a good home. And Car Rescue Dogs here have these 2 beautiful pets. If anyone is interested, get in contact with them. This is Masha. She's a Saluki. And that's Peanut, a little Chihuahua.
Little Chihuahua.
Gorgeous. 2 gorgeous dogs. And, of course, it is always good talking about sustainable is dogs as well and looking after them or whatever else too and adopting. Now, let's talk about food and toys.
Yeah.
Is this something that we do need to think more about?
I suppose traditionally as vets even, we wouldn't have put a lot of thought into being very sustainable in the type of food that we're advising to feed dogs or maybe the toys and bedding that we're recommending. But it is something that we have to be more conscious. And even doing some research myself on it, we only think as an individual, our own pet and our own toy. But when you think there's about 750,000 pets that Masha go off for in the country, they all have toys, so it ends up, we end up with thousands of tons of toys and waste every year from
plastic and whatever else.
Yeah,
exactly.
So what we're saying to people is try maybe look at when it comes to toys and even say this Kong here. So I'll show you here. It's really cool. It's environmentally friendly. It's made from recycled plastic, and you're basically going to pop the food in here, and then the pet will then have to try and nuzzle around this. So you can put it...
Show us how it works.
Look, it's kind of awkward to do, but you could do something like this, so the pet would nuzzle around like that now, and then you get a bit of food out of it. So
Martin's trying to get me to do that. So throw them under the bus said no. As well. Very good. What about...
It's to slow down your dog eating as
well.
Slow
down your dog eating.
Yeah.
They're really good for enrichment as well, and it stimulates their mind and gets them just distracted. So if you have a dog that's at home for a few hours when you're at work, it gives them something to do, put a few treats in. And this is a really good one here as well. When you think about breeds like collies, they really want to have their minds kept active. So you can hide treats in here, put little bits of food in there.
Okay.
And they're unbelievably clever.
All kind of recycled goods, whatever else.
This is all recycled plastic as well. And then when it comes to food, we have... I suppose, food that have kind of insect protein based rather than, I say, animal protein based.
Yeah, this is going to become a big thing. They're even saying this for human food in the future. So what's going on with this stuff? It's bulking up the protein.
It's bulking up the protein. I mean, for cats, because they're obligate carnivores, I mean, they have to have meat in their diet. So, I mean, for cats, they have to have meat. So when we talk about vegetarian or vegan diet, we have to be very careful in making sure diets are balanced for pets. So that's okay for dogs. When we talk about insect-based protein.
So they kind of look like pellets that, like, kind of biscuits that a dog would eat, whatever else. But
now, with any food, it does take them a time. You can try there with peanut. It takes some time to adjust or get used to it.
What about kelp then? Because that's actually from Ireland as well, isn't it?
This is Irish grown, yeah, Irish kelp, so really good antioxidants and really good for kind of getting a nice kind of shiny coat, and we'll have minerals and vitamins in it as well. So we're talking about things that are sustainable and less harmful on the environment, and this candy dent is very good for oral health as well, reducing tartar and plaque on the teeth.
So could you put that over the top of their food?
Yeah, you just sprinkle it onto their food, yeah.
Okay.
And most dogs will take it fine, you know, they won't find an aversion to the taste or the smell.
And in terms of leads and everything else, is it important to try and get, we can see these ones that are here, you have dog collars, they're all recycled.
Yeah, and people mightn't be aware, even the likes of this here, you know, it's very comfortable on the dog's neck, and, you know, it's stylish and it's recyclable. And if we all made an effort, when we talk about the hundreds and thousands of collars and leads that are out there, you know, if they're made from recycled material, it's much kinder to the environment then.
Can I ask you quickly as well, Halloween is coming up around the corner. Fireworks is something that set my dogs off an awful lot. Is there anything you can advise people to do just...
Yeah, the big ones we'll say is, I suppose, if your pets aren't microchipped, get them microchipped, because every year there'll be pets that, with the noise, they'll run out of the house, especially cats. So having a microchip, at least to be able to get them back to the owner. Things I wouldn't have thought about in the past, but like naked flames with candles, putting them in pumpkins, so a lot of them, you can get like electric candles now, and they're a lot safer for pets. But if you have like lights that are up and there's leads coming down, be careful with young pups, they'll tend to chew on them.
All that keep them inside.
Keep them inside. There is some stuff you can get. You can get like DAP collars, which are help kind of, there have pheromones in it that help relax dogs, and also there's some supplements, natural supplements, to reduce stress and anxiety in pets. But if your pet does suffer from that, is getting them started on it before the
I just get them sent over to Muireann, who makes little Peanut look how comfortable he is as well.
He's very chilled out.
Very chilled out.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
If people do want to adopt, what was the...
Cardio rescue dogs, and the guys are doing an absolutely amazing job.
They are amazing, and a big thank you to Fetch Your Pet Needs for all the toys and the treats, and also to Cara Rescue Dogs in Leash. You can find them online for bringing Peanut and Masha in. Please head over to cararescuedogs.com if you're interested in adopting a dog. Please think about it.
Something Peanut wants that though, Martin. Thank you. Now, that's nearly all for us here in studio, but Alan, how was your morning down in Kerry?
Thanks, guys. Yes, we've had a great morning here at the Tralee golf course. It has been quite breezy, quite stormy, but just look at those views. It is sensational. A big thank you to all our guests who joined us here this morning. We've had a really lovely morning, and we'll be back in the warmth of a studio tomorrow. So everybody here from Tralee, bye-bye.
Thanks very much,
Bye.
Alan. I'd be delighted to get back to
His
studio,
hair started to move. We think that it definitely used a wind machine there.
He was definitely making it up. Coming up on the show tomorrow, Donald Skean is going to be here talking about his new cookbook.
Indeed, and Hot Shot hotelier Francis Brennan tells us how age is just a number. We will see you tomorrow from 7 on Virgin Media 1.
Have a great day.
Bye.